You know that hidden tension we all face? How do you protect your own time and your own energy without feeling like you're damaging your relationships? It can honestly feel like a trade-off, like you have to choose one or the other, but you don't. There's actually a system for setting boundaries that doesn't just protect you, it actually earns you more respect in the long run. Let's break it down.
Okay, let's just get right to the heart of it. The real struggle isn't about saying the word no. I mean, the word itself is simple, right? The real struggle is with that feeling in your gut, the emotional fallout you expect, the disappointment from others, the disapproval, that deep-seated fear of just being disliked. This isn't really about being assertive, it's about our need for attachment.
And this core fear, well, it shows up in some really familiar ways. See if any of this sounds like you. You say yes to a last-minute request when you're already completely overwhelmed. You write a 5-paragraph essay in a text message just to explain why you can't make it to a party. You find yourself saying, "I'm so sorry," when it's not even your fault. And then, maybe a few hours or even a few days later, that quiet, simmering resentment starts to build. And that's the telltale sign that you've crossed one of your own lines.
Look, these aren't just random bad habits. They're symptoms of a system that isn't working for you anymore. And the good news is, systems can be fixed. So here's my promise. By the end of this explainer, you're going to have a deep understanding of the psychology of why you people please, why setting boundaries can feel so aggressive, and you'll walk away with a practical system to set them in a way that actually gains you respect.
So before we can build that new system, we've got to take a look at the old one. Let's pull back the curtain on the hidden reasons that make us say yes when every part of us is screaming no.
At the heart of people-pleasing, you'll usually find 3 fundamental fears. First, there's the fear of rejection. This is an ancient, primal thing, right? The fear that if we're not agreeable, we'll be cast out of the tribe. Second, there's a deep fear of conflict. We'd much rather deal with our own internal discomfort than have to face any kind of external friction. And finally, for so many of us, our entire identity has been built on a foundation of getting approval from others. We're the helpful one, the reliable one. So saying no feels like we're betraying the very person we're supposed to be.
And thinking about it this way really reframes the whole behavior, doesn't it? People-pleasing isn't some character flaw or a sign of weakness. It's actually a pretty sophisticated, even if it's misguided, self-protection strategy. It's a system you designed, probably unconsciously, to keep yourself safe from rejection and conflict. So you're not a people pleaser, you're just running an outdated emotional survival program.
And you know, for a while, this strategy, it works. It does minimize immediate conflict. It gets you that little hit of approval. But this strategy comes with a hidden cost, a long-term emotional tax that most of us don't even see until we're on the verge of complete burnout. This brings us right to the core of the problem. If we know we need boundaries, why does setting one feel so wrong? Why can a simple, polite no feel like an act of aggression? Well, the answer isn't in your head, it's in your nervous system. For years, you have trained your brain and your body to believe that being agreeable equals being safe. So when you go to set a boundary, your nervous system flags it as a major threat. It sounds the alarm. That feeling of guilt, that spike of adrenaline, that little voice in your head telling you you're being selfish, that's not a moral failure. It's a conditioned biological response. You're not actually being aggressive. Your body just thinks you're about to walk into a fight.
And this really shows the 2 different paths we can take. Over on the right, you've got the emotional reaction. This is what happens when we wait until we just can't take it anymore. The no comes out suddenly, maybe tinged with anger, and it's almost immediately followed by guilt and resentment. It's all focused on how the other person is going to react. But on the left, that's our goal, a calm boundary. It's planned ahead, it's firm, it's clear, and most importantly, it's grounded in your own internal needs, not someone else's external demands.
And this is so crucial. The bridge that takes you from that messy, emotional reaction to a calm boundary, it's not magic, it's a skill. And that skill is what we can call emotional discipline. It's the ability to feel that internal storm of guilt and fear and still choose to act in a calm, assertive way. It's about letting the feeling be there without letting it be the one in charge.
Okay, so we've got the why down. Now let's build the how. We're going to shift from psychology to practical application with a really simple three-step framework I call the boundary architecture system. This is where it all becomes real. The system has just 3 parts. First, the internal clarity rule, which is all about creating space for yourself. Second, the short response principle, which is about communicating simply. And third, the no defense policy, which is all about holding your ground firmly but calmly. So let's break down exactly how each one works.
So step 1 is the internal clarity rule. The whole goal here is to interrupt your automatic yes. When someone asks for something, your first move isn't to give them an answer. It's to find the answer for yourself. You create a buffer, a simple phrase like, "Let me check my schedule and get back to you," or "I need to check my capacity first." That buys you the time you need to ask yourself, "Hey, do I even want to do this? Do I have the energy? Does this actually align with my priorities?" It puts you back in the driver's seat.
All right, so once you have that internal clarity and the answer is no, you move on to step 2, the short response principle. We all have this huge urge to over-explain, right? To soften the blow with the long, drawn-out story. Don't do it. A simple, polite, and direct response is actually more respectful to both you and the other person. Something as simple as, "Thank you so much for thinking of me, but I can't make it." That's it. It's kind, it's clear, and it's a complete sentence.
Now, sometimes people will push back. They'll ask, "Oh, why not?" And this brings us to the final and maybe the most important step, the no defense policy. The moment you start defending or justifying your no, you hand all the power right back to them. You're implying that your reason needs their approval. Instead, you hold the boundary with a calm, general statement. "It just doesn't work for me right now." That's all. You don't owe anyone a dissertation. Your boundary is the reason.
So, you have the system, but how do you know if it's really working, and how do you get better at it over time? This brings us to our final act, a really simple diagnostic tool to help you master this skill for the long haul.
This is one of the most powerful psychological truths about boundaries you'll ever hear. Resentment is your emotional compass. It's a delayed signal from your past self telling you that you said yes when a part of you already knew the answer was no. So it's not some negative emotion you need to run from. It's actually crucial data. And here's exactly how you use that data. You implement what's called the 24-hour reflection rule. Anytime you feel that familiar sting of resentment after agreeing to something, just pause. Think back to the moment you said yes. Where did this system break down? Did you skip the internal clarity rule and just give an immediate answer? Did you feel pressure to over-explain? Use that feeling of resentment as a tool for analysis, not for self-criticism.
And this leads us to the beautiful, kind of paradoxical truth in this whole process. Your fear is that boundaries are going to push people away, but the reality is that inconsistent boundaries or boundaries that explode out in anger are what create confusion and frustration. Consistently clear boundaries, delivered calmly, teach people how to treat you. They don't break relationships, they actually build respect. Because real respect is built on clarity, not on compliance.
So as we start to wrap this up, I want to leave you with this one crucial mindset shift. So many of us have been taught to believe that kindness is the same as being constantly available and always agreeable, but they are not the same thing. You can be a deeply kind, generous, and loving person and still have firm boundaries that protect your own well-being. True kindness has to include being kind to yourself. So my challenge to you is a simple one. Don't try to overhaul your entire life tomorrow. Just look for one small opportunity this week, one small no that you can deliver using the short response principle without launching into a long defense. Just practice the feeling of calm assertion in a low-stakes situation. You know, setting boundaries is the first critical system. The next logical step is to start untangling your own self-worth from what other people think.
We'll be breaking down the system for exactly that in our next explainer, how to build an identity that doesn't depend on approval. So, if this was valuable for you, make sure you subscribe so you don't miss it. Thank you for your time.